Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. Joe Biden already bailed you guys out the first fucking time because Donald Trump screwed you over his first term in office. You guys seen what the fuck he did to you, and then you voted him back in again, and you think that we're supposed to have some sympathy points, or you going on CNN crying because he's fucking your shit up again? Really? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. The farmers in motherfucking Nebraska, Wisconsin, all of these states that are being affected, and they're trying to come on social media and the news stations crying now for sympathy points because they fucked themselves over by voting for this orange little bitch. Nah, it's too late for that shit now. Suck it the fuck up and struggle for the next 4 years.
So, as a Nebraskan, the farmers predominantly voted for the current president. They also voted for Pete Ricketts and Deb Fisher, who aren't doing anything for them. And China announced that they're not going to buy corn and soybeans today, or I think they've done it over the last couple days. I think it was last week, because of the trade war their current president that they voted for decided to wage, a trade war with China. They're not going to buy your goods. And I know that a lot of you have said that you want aid. Well, as a taxpayer who lives in Nebraska who did vote for the right candidate, I don't think I want my tax dollars going to bail you out. I think you actually should sit in your decisions and feel the effects. You want us to. Every time we vote for a Democrat and you say they're horrible. So at this point in time, I'm going to tell you the same thing you say to me back. You wanted to vote for this. Now you get to deal with the consequences. And I don't think I should have to bail you out, because I work hard for my money too. And my dollars shouldn't bail out your bad decisions. So yeah, today I'm telling you, the farmers here in Nebraska, you need to deal with your own decisions. It's your consequences, not mine, and I don't want to pay for them.
Caleb Ragland is the president of the American Soybean Association, and he just wrote an op-ed for a right-wing publication, and he said in there, quote, "Like many of my fellow farmers, I voted for President Donald Trump in the past 3 elections. The president won me over with his commitment to business-friendly tax cuts, as well as his track record of reducing regulation and cutting government spending. I am one of 500,000 soybean farmers in America who feels the pain. As a businessman, President Trump must know how urgent this is." Does he? Is he? Anyway, he goes on to say, the current trade war with China is a gamble with American livelihoods, especially for farmers, those of us who grew up with soil and sweat, who can't imagine doing anything else. Mr. President, I hope you hear our plea. Please make a deal with China now. Yeah, so he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. There is no deal to be had. As of now, the majority of Trump's base is sticking with him on these tariffs. But it's gonna catch up with them. They're gonna realize sooner or later there are no deals. He is not the deal maker. He screwed up. And no, China is not begging and pleading and knocking on our door.
So the Magas farmer are in the Fafo era. They are learning in a very, very hard way after voting for the president Donald Trump. A lot of them has gone bankrupt. A lot of them has lost so many funds, so they are now crying out and begging for help, and they are now regretting their votes. Yeah, so guys, welcome back again to today's episode. Today we are going to be checking out this video which I was able to gather for you guys. So if you need to watch them, share your thoughts, your opinion, let me know what you think about them in the comment section.
Great article today, Saturday, April 19th, on the website Daily Kos, dailykos.com. Another week, another batch of MAGA faithful finding out the hard way. Leopards eating faces. They're eating a lot of faces. This week's episode focuses on truckers and soybean farmers. Truckers love Donald Trump. About 75% of truckers in the United States identify as Republicans and voted for Donald Trump. It's easy to imagine why. The group is mostly rural, white, and male, and tied to a job that lives and dies on the cost of fossil fuels, diesel, which can account for up to 40% of their costs. And they hate environmental mandates to electrify their fleets, electric trucks. In 2014, truck driver was the most common job title in most American states and a significant one in pretty much all of them. Truck driving is one of the largest professions that provides a path to financial security without a college degree. So, Craig Fuller, a trucking guy on Twitter, many truckers I've spoken with don't realize how quickly container volumes have collapsed, meaning containers coming from China because of Trump's tariffs. Starting in May, port freight out of the state of California will almost be eliminated. It's going to be a bloodbath and then a complete collapse of I-20 and I-40 trucking. Those are freeways going across the states. I don't know what this term blank sailings means, but in May 2020, there were 51 shipments of blank sailings, over 80 of them so far in April. So blank sailings are bad, and they're up about 70% over May of 2020. COVID will look like good times. Let's see. This is crazy. Mack Truck is laying off 20% of its workforce, manufacturing trucks. Hang on. An industry expert said the 100,000 full-time, hard-working truckers hauling 85% of the surface trade in goods with Mexico and 67% of the goods traded with Canada will bear a direct and disproportionate impact from Trump's tariffs. It's gonna absolutely crater trucking. Now let's check on the soybean industry. During his first administration, he put tariffs on China. China bought all their stuff from Brazil. The economic damage was so severe that Trump had to bail out farmers to the tune of $28 billion. That's the definition of socialism for Republican farmers. A similar number of farmers voted for Donald Trump, 75 or 80%. So after his first term, what did those farmers do? What did they do? They voted for Trump again, of course. Trump has now killed what was left of the Chinese market, dramatically increased the cost of fertilizer, thanks to his trade war with China, and turned the world against American goods. As these soy farmers are relegated to pegging columns like this one, I'm a soybean farmer who voted for Trump. I'm begging the president to end the trade war. Like many of my fellow farmers, I voted for President Donald Trump in the past 3 elections. The president won me over with his commitment to business-friendly tax cuts, as well as his track record of reducing regulation and cutting government spending. I am one of the 500,000 soybean farmers in America who feels the pain. I rely on my farm for 100% of the income for my family, except for all those government subsidies, the socialism, and the families of our 3 full-time workers. We have 1,500 acres of soybean on my farm. It's $600 per acre. Our production costs are $900,000. But in the current climate, an acre only brings in $500 of revenue, which means we are yielding $750,000, a $150,000 loss because you voted for Donald Trump, because of Trump's tariffs on China, because China has just been like, we're gonna get our stuff from Brazil again. They're getting their soybeans from Brazil. They're getting their beef from Australia. So it's not just soybean farmers. Guess who didn't have to give farmers $28 billion in bailouts? Joe Biden. You voted for this 3 times, truckers and soybean farmers. You voted for this 3 times. Have the day you deserve.
MAGA no like tariffs. Tariffs make price go up. MAGA no like trade war. Biggest trade war with China. MAGA no like. Why? China buy no more beef from red states. Red states have too much beef. Oversupply of beef. Must sell lower price. MAGA no like. They pretend they're okay with it because they'll put up with anything that Mr. Dump does. But they no like. China no buy chicken, poultry. Simple economics, supply and demand. Now we will have lots of beef and lots of poultry. That means price go down. Good for us, bad for farmers. MAGA no like tariffs. MAGA no like trade war. MAGA no like how China fighting back with US. Did you know that like 90% of what everybody buys for Christmas toys, games from around the world, do you know where they mostly come from? Where they're mainly manufactured? China. MAGA no like that. This Christmas, toys, very expensive. In preparation, companies slow down production. Shelves will be empty. No Christmas for MAGA. And whatever does get shipped here from China, the tariff, that's just a fancy name for a tax. MAGA no like tax. MAGA no have money, MAGA poor. Prices going up. MAGA quiet lately, MAGA regret. But MAGA won't admit. MAGA just quiet. Marches across the country? Good. MAGA no like protest marches. MAGA likes to attack Capitol. MAGA likes insurrection, but they call it a gathering, a peaceful one. MAGA no like protests going on in all the cities. MAGA no like hands off. MAGA learning the hard way. Trump learning the hard way. Over soon.
American farmers overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump in this past election, and they're about to have an FAFO moment. As background, American farmers export $15.2 billion in soybeans to China every single year. And now, because of Donald Trump's tariffs, these farmers are in big trouble. 8 out of the 10 states that produce the most soybeans that are exported to China voted for Donald Trump. The last time Donald Trump was in office, the agriculture sector lost $27 billion as a result of his previous tariffs. As a result of Donald Trump's previous rounds of tariffs in 2018, China began to seek alternative sources for soybeans outside the United States. Since 2018, China has developed a strong relationship with Brazil, accounting for 73% of all soybean exports from the country. China's purchase of soybeans from Brazil has now skyrocketed this year, and it is expected that they will replace the United States and all of the farmers who depend upon those exports in the near future.
I think these people are doing it based on the fact that Trump administration affected them so bad. Yeah, this is the reason why they are now beginning to come out, crying out and begging for help. I remember before the election when they were trying to educate or to warn some of them, they refused to listen and they still went ahead and vote for the president Donald Trump. A lot of them voted based on a selfish ground. A lot of them voted just because a woman of color was involved. Yeah, it was a lot of them voted out of races, and now they never thought that his administration was going to affect them negatively. Yeah, they only thought it was only going to affect the immigrants and others undocumented people, but they never believed that this administration was also going to affect them as well. So they have been going on back runs and they are lacking uh yeah, so they are now beginning to cry out seeking for help, begging people for help, begging people to help them and regretting their votes. Yeah, even I remember before the election when some people was trying to educate these people, they refused to listen. They refused. They said that they are the most educated people. They know what they are doing. And look at what is happening now. Just imagine what is happening now. Like, how can you even vote for someone who you know that his administration was never going to favor you? And what was your reason for even voting for him at the first place? What was your reason for doing this? What was your reason? Because I don't just get it at all. I don't get it at all why a lot of people actually voted for him. Well, guys, let me know what are your thoughts about this video in the comment section. Please don't forget to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. So guys, thank you so much for watching this clip. You stay tuned and hope to see you all in my next episode. Bye.